Welcome back to Reshaped by Loss.
where we hold space for grief, healing, and the real conversations in between.
This is Crystal,
And this is Bernadette.
and we're your host. And if you're here today, you don't have to be strong. You don't have to have it all figured out. Just come as you are. The last time we were here, we talked about the question so many of us carry. Why? Why me? Why my child? Why did this happen? And today, we're talking about something that comes after that. What happens when those questions come back?
Yeah, I think people sometimes assume that once you face those questions or even talk them through, that they just go away.
Yeah, I used to think that too. Like once I work through it, once I process it, I just feel that that's it. But the truth is, they don't always stay gone.
So I'm curious to know, Ma, what does that look like for you? What does it look like for you when they come back?
It's usually not loud at first, if that makes sense. It could be something small, like a memory, a date, a quiet moment. Or well, I used to tell you it's a smell. Like I smell your brother, I know he's here. So it can be, a smell. And and then suddenly that question is right there again. Why? Why did this happen? Why my son?
Yeah, and I think sometimes in those moments it can feel a little discouraging. Like, man, I thought I was past this feeling. I thought I was past this level of grief. But it can feel like you're taking steps backwards.
Exactly.
Like somehow you've undone your healing, but it really, we know that healing moves in waves.
True, yeah. And it can feel like you're, like you said, taking steps backwards, or like somehow your healing, is being undone. Yeah.
So, what do you think is really happening?
I just think, it's just grief revisiting again, not because, I haven't healed, or, because you haven't healed, because love is just still there. The love that we have for our loved one, your brother, my son, is still there. So sometimes that grief does circle back. But again, it doesn't mean that healing is being undone.
Yeah. I like when people say that grief is when, what is it, like love doesn't have a place to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's real. And then to your point, it's not regression, it's connection. It's it's a memory, and those memories can be really sweet, or they could be bittersweet. But at the end of the day, it still feels nice to still have that connection with that person.
Yeah, I agree. So really, if we look at it, let's look at it another way. So the question doesn't come back because we're broken, right? So, they come back because we love that person just that deeply.
Yeah.
Right? So I just think I don't know, it's just that love, and it's just, I don't know, it's just that love that keeps it, revisiting.
Yeah.
But it's not, we're not broken. It's
love.
It's just that love, yeah.
Yeah. So when that happens now, I'm curious to know, what do you do differently compared to in the past?
Well, for me, sitting with it looks like where I used to, push away my feelings, right? I used to just like shake my head and stuff like no, I don't want to hear it, those things.
I couldn't even say his name.
Right, exactly. I'm, still pretending like I'm okay, or not being honest about how I feel, and then you're not taking it to God, right? So that's that's the way it looked in you know, before. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's real because you're not necessarily ignoring it. You're not letting it control you either. So it's like you're finding that sweet spot.
Right. Because like before I was trying to fix it. You know, I wanted some answers. You know, I would try to make sense of everything. But now that I'm on this healing journey, you know, I've come to accept that I may not get the answers that I seek. And it's not easy. And again, not to say that why doesn't circle back again, but because I'm in a different place in my grief, again, I'm able to, you know, sit with it a little bit better and accept that I may not ever get an answer to my why.
Yeah. And to know that you're not without God, right? And to know that God, I like how you mentioned God earlier and saying it like you bring it to God. And we know that God, you know, the Holy Spirit lives within us and that He's not without you. And we don't have to necessarily always go looking for answers, you know, to the question of like why this, why that. We don't need to go looking for those answers. It's just more so, I don't know, I think that's the difference between presence over explanation. Things sometimes don't need to be explained to us, and I think a lot of times when we are grieving, we have that question of why me, like you said earlier, why not this person, why gotta be this person instead. And I don't think that needs to be the focus. I don't think the whys need to be the focus.
Right. And I just feel that letting go of the why is a good thing because it's its own kind of grief.
Yeah.
Right? So what I found is even if I don't have the answers, I'm not without God. You know what I mean? So let me just say that again. Even if I don't have the answers, it doesn't mean that I am not without God. Okay? So that's key for me. Just to know that I'm not alone, that He's with me, even in my why, even in my, you know, while I'm questioning.
And He could handle that.
Yeah.
He can handle those questionings. He can handle the frustration, you know, because we know that God is a sovereign God, right? But we also know that that's the beautiful part, that what I love about Yahweh is that He is a sovereign God. He is the King of our life, and He is our Father. He's Abba. So we can come to Him with those emotions, those questions of why. And while He may not necessarily give us those answers per se, His presence in itself is the greatest present that we can really receive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what I mean about like that difference of presence over explanation.
Yeah, that's good. And and some days I still ask, but other days I still find myself saying, God, I don't understand this, but I trust you.
And I think that that's key, that I trust you. It makes me think about in Psalm 91, there's a portion of it where it says, I declare this about the Lord, He is my God, and I declare this about the Lord, He is my refuge, my place of safety, He is my God, I would trust Him.
Right.
And that's exactly what I'm hearing you say. He is my place of refuge where I find safety. In the midst of my confusion, in the midst of my why, I know I can run to Abba Father, and I trust Him to know that at the end of it all, I know that it's somehow, some way it's going to work for my good, for His good, and that, you know, getting to that place of eternity. And that doesn't mean that the pain is necessarily gone.
Right, not at all. Right. I think it just means that the questions doesn't carry the same weight as it used to.
Correct. Right? And, you know, for those who are listening, if there's anyone who is listening right now and those questions are coming back, what would you want them to know?
Maybe that you're not starting over, that you're not failing, and you're not doing grief wrong. This is part of the journey, right? So, and then just to know that the questions may come back, but so can that peace, right? So that, I think that's more important, just to know that if those questions, that why me, why my family, why my child, why my life, it's not to say that, once we get that peace, that those questions don't come back, because they do. I know for me that they do.
But the idea is to keep moving forward. Like you encouraged me at the beginning of this year.
Right.
Because we know that, to your point, the questions can return, but they don't have to take you under.
Right.
And the idea is for us to continue to grow, because that grief, if we keep being stuck in those whys, that can lead to deepening depression.
Yeah.
It could lead to more anxiety. It could lead to more mental health issues. So we have to shift our mindset when it comes to that, and thinking more so of, okay, let me allow myself to feel this in this moment, so that way I'm not stifling it in any type of way, or prolonging this grief, or pushing it down. But I'm also not going to allow it to have power over me.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, like you said, you can feel them without losing yourself in them. So,
correct.
Yeah, I get that. Well, that was really good.
Yeah.
That was really good. All right. So, as you go, remember you're not broken. That we're all being reshaped.
I hope you all take what spoke to you today and leave the rest.
Be gentle with yourself. Healing isn't linear.
And neither is grief.
If this space feels safe for you, we invite you to subscribe to Reshaped by Loss,
so others who are grieving can find it as well.
Until next time, this is Crystal
and Bernadette,
reminding you that you are seen, you are held, and you don't have to walk this journey alone. Shalom, shalom.